You wake up, still half asleep, and before your body has even adjusted to the morning light, you're already walking toward the kitchen. It's automatic. Your hands reach for the same mug, your fingers press the same button, and within minutes, the smell of fresh coffee fills the room. It feels comforting, familiar, like a ritual that grounds your day. You take that first sip on an empty stomach, believing it's harmless or even beneficial. But what you don't see, and what no one ever told you, is that this simple morning habit might be quietly wrecking your digestive system. Doctors specializing in gastroenterology have been warning about this for years. Drinking coffee on an empty stomach may seem innocent, but it's like throwing gasoline on a fire that hasn't even started burning yet. When your stomach is empty, there's no buffer, no protection. The acid produced by your stomach has nothing to work on except itself. Add coffee into this situation, and it stimulates an even greater surge of hydrochloric acid. Over time, this repeated exposure can damage the protective lining of your stomach, leading to inflammation, irritation, and eventually conditions like chronic gastritis, reflux, or worse. And here's the scary part. It doesn't happen suddenly. It doesn't scream. It whispers. It begins with tiny symptoms you brush off. A little discomfort after eating. That annoying feeling of bloating. Occasional burping you think is just gas. Maybe you start waking up with a strange metallic or bitter taste in your mouth. These are not random. They are early signs that your stomach is under constant attack. Yet because the damage is slow, you don't notice it right away. You keep drinking your coffee, day after day, believing it's your wake-up fuel, while your stomach becomes more vulnerable with each passing morning. Many people above the age of 55 grew up without ever hearing about the importance of stomach acid balance. You were told to avoid fatty foods, watch your salt, and maybe cut back on sugar. But no one warned you about the damage caused by acidity before breakfast, especially not from something as culturally accepted as coffee. The truth is, your stomach wasn't built to handle acidic beverages in a completely empty state. And as you age, your ability to recover from that kind of irritation decreases significantly. The lining of your stomach becomes thinner, your digestion slows down, and your natural defense mechanisms weaken. What makes this worse is that most people combine coffee with stress. You drink it while checking the news, responding to messages, or rushing out the door. Your body is already in a state of alert, your nervous system firing on all cylinders. Adding coffee to an empty stomach under stress creates the perfect storm. The acid builds, the nerves tighten, the stomach contracts, and soon, what began as a peaceful morning becomes a chemical battlefield inside your digestive tract. If you've ever wondered why you start the day feeling uneasy, low on energy, or strangely irritable, this could be the reason. That acid surge doesn't just stay in your stomach. It affects your mood, your clarity, and your body's ability to absorb nutrients throughout the day. It can even interfere with the production of serotonin, the feel-good chemical largely produced in your gut. So yes, your morning cup might be directly linked to your anxiety or the afternoon crashes you thought were just part of getting older. You might think, but I've been drinking coffee like this for years. And that's exactly why it's a problem. The damage is cumulative. Your stomach remembers every cup, especially when it's the first thing it receives in the morning. Imagine having a wound that you pour acid on every day. Even if it's a small amount, it never gets the chance to heal. Over time, it gets deeper, more painful, more dangerous. And while painkillers or antacids might give you temporary relief, they don't stop the cause. They only silence the symptoms while the destruction continues beneath the surface. There's also a common misconception that coffee helps with digestion or gets things moving in the morning. And while it's true that caffeine can stimulate bowel movement, it does so by irritating your intestines and speeding up your digestive contractions unnaturally. It's not a sign of health. It's your body trying to get rid of something it's struggling to handle. And if you've ever experienced a sharp cramp or an urgent need to use the bathroom after your first coffee, that's your gut reacting to stress, not cleansing itself. But perhaps the most alarming part is how normalized this habit has become. Everyone around you does it. TV shows glorify it. Cafes open early just for it. You were never told to question it. And the industry certainly doesn't want you to stop. But now, your body is speaking louder than ever. That burning feeling you brush off, that uncomfortable pressure after breakfast, that fatigue that seems to appear mid-morning. These are all signs. Your body is not angry at you. It's begging you to change. Some people only realize the damage when they're already deep into a health crisis, when eating becomes a painful task, when medications become part of every meal, when food stops being joy and starts being fear. It doesn't have to reach that point. You don't have to suffer in silence, believing this is just what aging feels like. Because it's not. It's what damage feels like. And the sooner you listen, the sooner your body can start to heal. What you do in the first 15 minutes after waking up sets the tone for your entire digestive system. And no, you don't have to give up coffee completely, but you do have to respect your body's signals. And it starts by not letting your first act of the day be an attack on the very organ that fuels your life. You deserve mornings that nourish you, not mornings that quietly destroy you from the inside out. If this message made you reflect on your own morning habits, let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your experience. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Your journey matters. You wake up with a strange taste in your mouth. It's bitter, metallic, almost sour. Maybe you've gotten used to it. Maybe you tell yourself it's nothing, just normal. A small price to pay for getting older. Then, a few minutes after eating breakfast, you feel that subtle pressure building in your chest. Not quite pain, but not exactly comfortable either. You might belch a little, or feel like something's stuck in your throat. These are the quiet signals your body is trying to send you. But most people don't listen. And that silence becomes the breeding ground for something much more serious. The truth is, your body has always tried to protect you. It sends warnings. Soft ones at first, a little bloating, a random burning sensation, a cough that seems to appear out of nowhere. But in a world where we're constantly distracted, we brush these things off. We tell ourselves it's gas, or age, or maybe something we ate. But what if it's none of those things? What if these minor symptoms are the first indicators that your digestive system is under siege? Doctors specializing in gastrointestinal health are seeing a disturbing trend. Patients above 55 are arriving with advanced digestive issues, but when asked about early symptoms, most of them describe the same story. They felt the signs. They ignored them. They waited until the discomfort became impossible to bear. And by that time, the damage was already significant. You see, the human body doesn't jump from healthy to sick overnight. It moves in stages, and if you know how to recognize the early signals, you can avoid years of suffering. Let's talk about some of these signals. Burping after meals that feels unusually strong. A persistent sore throat with no sign of infection. Waking up at night with a dry mouth or coughing fits. A sensation of tightness in the chest or throat after eating. These are not random. They are part of a chain reaction triggered by excessive stomach acid creeping up into areas it doesn't belong. This is known as silent reflux. It doesn't always come with heartburn. That's why it's called silent. But its long-term effects can be devastating. One of the biggest risks of untreated reflux is inflammation of the esophagus. The lining, which is not designed to handle acid, becomes irritated. Over time, the cells in that lining begin to change in a desperate attempt to protect themselves. This condition is called Barrett's esophagus, and while not every case leads to cancer, it is considered a precancerous state. The tragedy is that this transformation happens slowly, and in most cases, it could have been stopped early if the symptoms had been taken seriously. But there's another layer to this. Many people associate acid reflux with overeating or spicy food. While that can be true, the real culprit is often what you do in the morning. Starting the day with acid, skipping protective foods, rushing your meals, or eating in a state of stress all contribute to a vulnerable digestive system. And when you ignore the first signs, your body has no choice but to adapt. But adaptation comes at a cost. Inflammation leads to sensitivity. Sensitivity becomes damage. And damage becomes disease. If you've ever had that strange moment where your voice sounds hoarse for no reason, or you feel like clearing your throat constantly, you may already be experiencing this adaptation process. The acid is rising up silently, affecting your vocal cords, irritating your airways, and weakening your esophageal tissue. Some people even develop asthma-like symptoms or chronic sinus issues without ever realizing that the problem starts in the stomach. It's not just about what you feel, it's also about what you don't. Because while some symptoms are loud, others are dangerously quiet. Chronic fatigue, brain fog, headaches, mood swings. These may not seem connected to your digestion, but they often are. Your gut is responsible for producing neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine. When it's under attack, your brain chemistry suffers. That unexplained sadness or irritability might not be emotional. It might be chemical. And it might be coming from the war happening inside your digestive tract. What makes all of this even more complex is the role of age. As we get older, our stomachs naturally produce less acid. That might sound like a good thing, but it's not. Because the body responds to that drop by working harder to digest food. It holds on to food longer, it contracts more forcefully, and sometimes it overcompensates by releasing bursts of acid at the wrong time. This erratic digestion is exhausting for the body. It creates pressure, bloating, and reflux. And the older you get, the less margin of error you have. Imagine trying to run a machine every day with worn-out gears. That's what happens when your stomach is pushed every morning without protection. And just like a machine, it will eventually break down. But unlike a machine, you can't replace your stomach. You can't order a new esophagus. All you can do is care for the one you have. And that care begins with attention, with awareness, with the courage to admit that maybe those little signs are not so little after all. You've probably heard stories of friends or family members who ended up on daily medications just to eat without pain. You may even be one of them. But no one tells you that it didn't have to be that way. No one told you that a few small changes early on could have prevented years of discomfort, pills, and fear around food. This isn't about blame. It's about reclaiming control, about realizing that your body still speaks, and that it's never too late to listen. When you start honoring those signals, even the smallest ones, something shifts. You begin to notice how your body reacts, how it calms down when you eat slowly, how it feels lighter when you avoid acidic triggers, how your sleep improves when you stop the silent reflux from creeping up during the night. These aren't coincidences. They are the natural result of treating your digestive system with the respect it always deserved. Your stomach is not just a container. It's a messenger, and it's been trying to talk to you for a long time. The bitterness in your mouth, the bloating after breakfast, the tightness that makes you pause mid-sentence. These are not annoyances. They are cries for help. And the sooner you recognize them for what they are, the sooner you can begin to heal. Have you ever felt some of these symptoms but never knew where they came from? Share your story in the comments. Your voice could help someone else. And remember to hit subscribe so we can keep walking this path of healing together. What part of today's video spoke to you the most? Tell us below. We read every single comment. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel for more content made with care and truth, just like this one. There is a moment in every morning when your body is most vulnerable. Not because you are weak, but because your digestive system is waking up slowly, cautiously, trying to recalibrate after hours of fasting. And yet, This is the exact moment when most people launch a full assault without realizing it. You sit down at the table and reach for the foods that feel familiar. Toast with margarine, a glass of orange juice, a bowl of cereal, or maybe some oatmeal from a packet. Sometimes even leftovers from the night before. It feels like breakfast. It feels normal. But this is how the cycle begins. The one that inflames your gut. The one that builds symptoms that you blame on everything except what's really causing them. Let's start with the coffee. Not just the coffee on an empty stomach, but coffee in combination with certain foods. You drink it while chewing on white bread, thinking it will help wake up your digestion. But white bread, especially when toasted, contains simple carbohydrates that convert to sugar almost instantly. That sugar feeds bad bacteria in the gut. It also causes a spike in blood sugar that crashes an hour later, leaving you tired, shaky, or craving more sugar. Add margarine to that bread, and now you've introduced industrial fats known to cause inflammation of the stomach lining. These fats are processed, hydrogenated, and difficult to digest. They coat the lining of your digestive tract, making it harder for your body to absorb nutrients properly. Then there's the orange juice. Most people think it's a healthy way to start the day, but store-bought juice is usually loaded with added sugar and citric acid. Even the so-called natural ones are highly acidic and stripped of fiber, which is what helps buffer sugar absorption in whole fruits. When this level of acidity hits your empty stomach, it's like squeezing lemon juice on an open wound. It irritates, it inflames, and it sets off a chain reaction that your body will spend the rest of the day trying to correct. And what about oatmeal? It depends. Traditional rolled oats cooked slowly with water or plant-based milk can be soothing. But the instant-flavored packets that dominate supermarket shelves are full of artificial additives, preservatives, and sugar. They might say healthy or heart smart on the box, but inside is a mixture your gut has to fight to process. When these kinds of foods are consumed in combination, sugar, processed fat, acidity, and caffeine, your stomach becomes a battlefield before your day even begins. The worst part is that most people believe they are eating well. They choose yogurt, believing it's good for digestion. But most commercial yogurts contain artificial sweeteners, flavorings, and even thickeners that disrupt gut flora. Or they start the day with a banana and peanut butter, not realizing that while banana can be soothing for some, combining it with high-fat peanut butter first thing in the morning can delay stomach emptying and cause bloating in sensitive individuals. These small decisions feel harmless on their own, but together they create what doctors call a cumulative inflammatory load. This means your digestive system is constantly working in a stressed state. It never gets to rest. And over time, this stress weakens the lower esophageal sphincter, allowing acid to travel back up the esophagus. It also slows motility, causing food to sit longer in the stomach, ferment, and produce gas. This leads to a cycle of discomfort that becomes your new normal. Imagine this happening every day for years. The inflammation builds quietly. The symptoms start small. You feel a bit of fullness after meals, a need to unbutton your pants in the middle of the day. You think it's just bloating, but then you start to notice patterns. Certain meals trigger more discomfort. Your energy dips after breakfast instead of rising. You develop a habit of skipping lunch or eating lighter because you feel too full. And still, no one tells you that breakfast, the way you've been doing it, is at the root of it all. Even fruits, often recommended for digestion, can be problematic when chosen poorly. Citrus fruits, pineapples, strawberries, these are highly acidic. When consumed alone, especially in the morning, they can trigger acid production and damage the stomach lining over time. The same goes for raw vegetables or smoothies made with cold ingredients. While they sound healthy, they can be harsh on the stomach if it hasn't yet warmed up and produced enough digestive enzymes. There is also the timing of your meals. Many people eat breakfast while standing, or while reading distressing news, or while scrolling on their phones. This splits the attention of your nervous system, activating a stress response rather than a rest and digest state. Digestion is not automatic. It requires presence. When your body is under even mild stress, blood is redirected away from your digestive organs and into your muscles, preparing you to fight or flee. So even if your meal is nutritionally balanced, if you're eating it under stress, your stomach will interpret it as a threat. Over time, these habits change your entire digestive rhythm. You begin to eat reactively instead of intuitively. You crave sugar not because you're addicted, but because your body is desperate for quick energy after failing to absorb nutrients properly in the morning. You develop a fear of certain foods. You take antacids regularly. You may even begin to avoid eating altogether because everything seems to cause a reaction. This is not aging. This is inflammation, and it is reversible. By understanding how these breakfast combinations affect your body, you begin to see a pattern that was hidden in plain sight. A pattern that was slowly turning your stomach into a source of pain instead of nourishment. And the shift doesn't require extreme diets or giving up everything you love. It requires awareness, a willingness to look at what you've accepted as normal and ask yourself if it's really serving you. Because your morning routine has more power than you think, and the way you treat your stomach in the first hour of your day determines how your body will treat you in the hours that follow. There is a quiet power in knowing that healing is not always about doing more, but often about doing things differently. When your mornings have been filled with habits that unknowingly harm your digestive system, the solution is not punishment or restriction. It's reconnection. Reconnection with the wisdom of your body and with the natural rhythm that keeps everything in balance. And the truth is, your body doesn't need much to begin recovering. It just needs a change in how you begin your day. Many digestive health experts have started recommending a simple but powerful morning protocol that anyone can follow. It is not a miracle, and it won't undo years of damage overnight, but it sets a new tone for your system. It tells your stomach, from the moment you wake up, that it is safe, that it will be supported, that it doesn't need to defend itself from the very first thing you give it. The first step is deceptively simple. You begin your day with a soft landing, something that prepares your stomach gently instead of shocking it. A few spoonfuls of a cooked apple, a banana mashed with a sprinkle of cinnamon, or even a small portion of warm oatmeal with water can be enough. The idea is to coat your stomach lining with something mild and non-acidic. This not only gives your stomach something to digest besides itself, but also reduces the violent acid surge triggered by caffeine on an empty stomach. It's a form of protection, a shield, and it only takes 2 minutes to do. The second step is mindfulness around the order of your intake. Instead of rushing through your meal with everything at once, you become intentional. You allow your stomach to activate gently. Begin with your soft, alkaline food. Wait a few minutes. Then sip water or herbal tea if needed. Only after that, consider introducing coffee or more intense foods. And if you are someone who deeply enjoys your morning coffee, that's okay. The goal is not to remove joy from your life, but to protect the organs that allow you to feel joy in the first place. The third step is often the most ignored, yet perhaps the most important. It's the energy you carry while eating. This means no phones, no stress, no rush, just you and your meal. Sit down, breathe. Let your body know that digestion is the only job it needs to focus on right now. Because when you eat in peace, your nervous system shifts into parasympathetic mode. This is when digestion thrives. Your blood flows to your gut. Your enzymes activate fully. Your body absorbs nutrients instead of storing them as inflammation. And your stomach does the job it was beautifully designed to do. For those who are already dealing with reflux, bloating, or chronic gastritis, this protocol is not just a preventive measure, it is a lifeline. It is the beginning of a reversal. Small actions like taking a teaspoon of aloe vera juice before breakfast or drinking a warm glass of water with a slice of cucumber can make a dramatic difference over time. These are gentle signals to your system that you are no longer at war with it, that you are listening now. Some doctors even recommend starting the day with a short walk or light stretching before eating. This movement activates peristalsis, the natural contractions of your digestive tract, helping your body prepare for food. It is a message to your gut. We are awake now, and we are ready. And what about supplements or medications? In some cases, they're necessary, but they should never be the first solution. Your body does not have a pill deficiency. It has a routine deficiency, a care deficiency, a moment of silence deficiency. When you give yourself those first 20 minutes of the day as a sacred space, everything begins to change. Your energy rises not because of caffeine, but because your cells are finally absorbing nutrients again. Your stomach feels lighter, not because you skipped meals, but because digestion is finally smooth. Your mood lifts, your thoughts become clearer, and you begin to remember what it feels like to live in a body that works with you, not against you. You may think it's too late, that your problems have gone too far, that your age means this is just how life is now. But healing does not care about how long it's been ignored. The moment you show up for yourself, your body will meet you there, quietly, faithfully, without judgment. And if you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. This is your reminder that your health is not a punishment. It is a partnership, and it begins each morning with the choices only you can make. Thank you for spending this time with me. Thank you for caring enough about your health to seek the truth beneath the routine. If this video touched you, helped you, or opened your eyes to something you hadn't noticed before, there's more waiting for you. Right now, on your screen, there is another video that continues this journey. One more step toward the balance your body is craving. Click and let your healing continue. You deserve that.